Small business is about courage, risk-taking, independence, and we small business owners are survivors. Everybody has an idea for a business, but how do you take that idea from mind to market? This is the place to learn.
Small Business School.
It's a new kind of school. Together we'll learn about business from the inside out, from the people who've done it. We'll meet the men and women who are today's pioneers and quiet heroes. Their lives are the textbooks. Our classroom is the world.
Small Business School is made possible by support from the United States Postal Service, delivering the promise to America's 23 million small and growing businesses. There's no wait at the post office in your own office. USPS.com is waiting for you. And by Microsoft.
We see you building a new company from an old company. We see a business full of potential. We're inspired to create software that helps you reach it.
Hi, I'm Hattie Bryant, and this is Small Business School. The USA is a beacon to creative people around the world. This country is a place to actualize dreams, and this television show is about people who are doing it. Today, you'll meet men who are building a chain of surfer food joints, Wahoo's Fish Taco. They came to our attention because they've won lots of awards, their ROI per square foot is off the charts, and they tirelessly give to their community. They're part of the boarding tribe, and this story begins because, in 1988, three brothers, newcomers to the USA, agreed there was no place for surfers to meet and eat like the places they loved in Baja. Wing Lam, Ed Lee, and Mingo Lee don't look like entrepreneurs, but they are. Their operation, Wahoo's Fish Taco, has over 700 employees in 43 stores. You'll find them in California, Colorado, Texas, and Hawaii. And some, like this location in La Jolla, are owned by franchisees.
Be just a couple minutes.
Their initial idea was to start a simple business they could run and make a living while surfing between shifts. They targeted their own boarding tribe, surfers, snowboarders, skateboarders, and have expanded to all extreme sports enthusiasts. It worked. How did you come up with what you serve today? Did the three of you talk about what you like to eat, argue, discuss, create in your own kitchens, try things? How did the recipes come to what they are today?
We actually just talked about it. Never did anything other than, hey, we like this kind of, from all of our parties and all of our friends outing and the restaurants we liked. And literally the day before we opened, I actually sat in the kitchen, wrote things down, and tried a couple of things that says, we're opening tomorrow.
All of us grew up in this type of business. We lived and breathed the restaurant business. And so I think a lot of it for us comes second nature, so that we're not thinking consciously about the decisions we're making sometimes. We just go because instinctually we know what's going on. We have a feel for the business. I mean, in Brazil, we literally grew up over the restaurant. We lived on the third floor over our restaurant. So from the day you're able to walk, you knew what was going on in the operation. We stood on Coke crates, peeling shrimp and washing dishes.
When you cook all your life, you just know what goes with what. And the next day was the very first batch of beans I've ever made, the very first batch of rice I've ever made, the very first fish we've ever made. And after lunch, we looked at each other and goes, hey, that was okay.
And people bought it?
People bought it. And they kept coming back and coming back.
And I think our parents giving us the tools by sending us to school have given us the extra edge that we didn't have or that they didn't have growing up. So I'd venture to guess that it looks easy on the outside only because a lot of this we like to think that we can still do it in our sleep without thinking too much about it.
Wahoo's serves clean food piled high and priced low. Its target, the 18 to 24-year-old male, is the biggest consumer of commercially prepared food in the U.S., according to the National Restaurant Association. They eat out 5.9 times per week.
Love Wahoo's, definitely.
It's embarrassing how much we come here, actually.
Food is food, and it's not rocket science as much as I'd like to think it is. But it was for us to package an experience. You know, you come to Wahoo, sure the food's gonna be good. We felt confident in our menu, but we wanted people to walk in and actually experience something. So what we wanted that to be is sort of a getaway to where our favorite spots were down in Baja.
The cool factor about our restaurant comes with all the friends we have in the surf industry. They're the ones that give us all the materials. They're the ones that give us surfboards or snowboards or skateboards. So those are the things, they're the ones that actually are cool. We just happen to know the cool people in town, and we sort of get to ride their coattails a little bit.
Place to go hang out and get great food.
Great hangout place. It's a surf restaurant.
Simple, but a lot of food. It's healthy, good food. You could eat it every meal.
Actually, we went through several phases of growth, I think. Initially, you know, a simple concept was we have 3 brothers. We can probably get ourselves up to 3 stores, and we each run our own store. And again, if you're the sole proprietor, you're there on site, it's not too bad a thing to run. You know, you don't have to keep inventory sheets. Our old school methods from Dad is you just keep everything between the ears, and you know, you just put it together. When you show up each morning, that's when your inventory is put together. You know, you just never have any paperwork in place. So up to about 3 stores, that worked. You know, once the 4th and 5th stores were coming online, we realized, you know, we only have so many bodies to get around town. So that was our first phase. I mean, simple things like, you know, as I mentioned, inventory sheets, getting our payroll, you know, computerized. These types of steps were just beginning to take place, where a lot of people probably would have done it from the get-go. We, you know, took it for granted that we grew up in the biz, we could do this stuff in our sleep, so we just sort of let it go. Until such point where you just can't physically do that. And so it was a good thing people like Steve came along to help us get to the next level.
The brothers give much of the credit for growth to 4th partner Steve Karfaridis, a new American from Greece. Steve, you had done the ultimate, the 5-star, the European cuisine, and we're talking about a joint here.
Sure. That was the very essence of what I liked about it, was the simplicity, the quality, and the freshness. I mean, these were ingredients that you find in high-end restaurants a lot of times. But high-end restaurants had vast inventories. The quality control was a big issue. Wing had an idea that I'm going to keep it simple, clean, fresh, and uncomplicated, but I'm going to serve high-quality products. So it combined elements of what I really loved, and plus it was simple. So I said, you know what? This is a dream business.
Ed explains how the 4 make the business work.
Mingo's our CFO. He handles all the finance, and he takes care of all the managing of the corporate. I mean, human resources, anything that's corporate, Mingo takes care of.
I am cheap to the core. So cheap, it's just, you know, it kills, you know, my wife each and every day, everybody at the office. I mean, I cut every corner that's not needed. And again, you know, I'm concerned about bottom line. That's my job.
Steve comes in as operations. He handles any daily questions in the restaurant level. Anything that happens in the restaurant, Steve has the last say. So one of the things is that there's no confusion. Wayne came by, Ed came by, me came by, and he said this. So that would make our management confused. They don't answer to us. They answer to Steve. And Steve is great at it.
We created a system of ratios, so to speak. You know, we know that the kitchen needs to have a certain amount of meat they use combined a day based on the sales they have. It gives them an instant score of how they're doing today. You know, so, and we do that daily. On a daily basis, everybody has a metric by which they live.
Wing handles all our marketing, promotions, fundraisers, so he handles that, and that in itself is a complete full-time job.
If you discount yourself, you cheapen the image that you've built all these years. So we have a theory, it's either full price or it's free. There's nothing in between. Because if we're going to give something, we give it with no strings attached. You don't have to buy anything. You don't have to bring anybody to get it. We give it to you, and you come and get it, and it's free.
I sort of just handle the development of the restaurant. I find real estate, make sure it's within Mingo's budget, and you know, I build it out.
Laguna is a small community.
Ed took me to one of his favorite locations overlooking the Pacific Ocean on a busy street in Laguna Beach.
This is old, and this is the feel we want to bring into our new stores. It's that beach feel, old feel. I mean, you're trying to be an upscale dive, but this is the feel we're trying to get into a shopping center. It's difficult, I mean, but we try to make a new building look old.
Here's Wing doing his thing. He gives tons of food away at events such as this. The U.S. Open of Surfing in Huntington Beach, held every year just spitting distance from a Wahoo's. Wahoo's customers, the boarding tribe, flock to this where we see young men compete. And the legends of surfing gather.
How did you then move out to create this, what I would call this wonderful marketing machine that you have around this culture of surfing and snowboarding and skateboarding?
When they opened the very first rock climbing gym in Costa Mesa, I was there with those guys, say, hey, we need to do a really cool event here to promote your business, and I'm willing to help you. They looked at me and goes, really? I goes, yeah, I have nothing to do with rock climbing other than once in a while I like to come and play. But I says, I'd be willing to come out here once a year and help you promote your business. And thus promoting their business, we accidentally benefited because all the rock climbers goes, hey, this guy's okay. He's one of us.
And what you do is you say, if we do this event, I'll bring the food? I mean...
Pretty much. I goes, I'm willing to give you a day of my life to help you guys promote your business. And as they grow, I grow. You don't do it because you want something. You do it because you can make a difference.
Okay, but the small business owner is looking at this saying, but where am I going to get the time? Where am I going to get the money? Where am I going to get the product to give away to this cause?
The alternative side would be to try to go out and market your company, which is a lot more expensive. If you go out there and sample your product, is the cheapest way, because once they taste it, they see it, they smell it, they touch it, and they connect it to you. Everybody wants to support a local businessman as opposed to a big corporate entity that they're not attached to. So as they see you being a part of the community, they want to interact with you, they want to support you back because you're supporting the community. So the giving comes back tenfold.
I said, you know, Wayne can't tie his shoes. He can't barely get his hair combed out or anything. He's disorganized, but he's a great marketing man. The one thing that he does better than anyone alive.
We sat down and we had decided that we can make this grow and we can open more restaurants. And I had told Wayne one day, I said, yeah, you must leave Laguna Beach. He was running Laguna Beach essentially, and I was there with him and supporting him and all that. Get out of the restaurant, go to Bristol, go on to your next thing. And Wayne kind of believed that he can't do that. If I do that, my customers are not going to come back. I'm going to lose my customers. They're coming in there for me. And I said, granted, they are coming there for you, but we can do that with other people so we can move on. So I said, give me a chance to work this place, you move on for a little while and we'll see what happens. Okay. We went to work really hard. I mean, it was the days where we used to use Post-its and write people's names on there, what they looked like, so we can get to know our customers. The couples, you know, the lady had curly blonde hair, the guy was bald, and he had a gray mustache.
You worked that hard?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I had a panel in the back of the bar there, and I had Post-its. And I just wanted to get to know these customers. It was a new product, new idea, a new concept. Everybody was looking for the lard and the oozing Mexican food, and they were finding something else. But we needed to explain the concept.
I love the black beans, rice, and tacos prepared the Wahoo's way. No lard, steamed tortillas rather than fried, and fresh ingredients including cilantro in the salsa.
How did it happen that the baby became the president?
That probably has something to do with family dynamics, and that, you know, I think we went with everybody's strengths. And I think, you know, responsibility, detail-orientated, these are things that my older brothers, again, they have their gifts, they contribute, you know, absolutely to the growth of the company. But I think the overall operation and managing the whole enchilada, if you will, there's a lot of details and a lot of deadlines to be met. Again, we're a bunch of laid-back surfers at heart, but some of us can overcome that to meet deadlines. The other ones need a little prodding. So we formulated a system by where the guy who can hit deadlines can help everybody to get there. And I think that's probably the key to our success, is taking everybody's, you know, natural abilities and talents and inclinations and then keeping them on track.
Trying to bring outside managers in, the people that were there before, wait a second, go, hey, we've been working here a year, 2 or 3, and all of a sudden somebody else gets to run our store. So we thought it'd be better if we groomed our managers from within, and they're able to basically earn the respect from their crew in order to run a store. So they feel much better about the fact that they know all the components and they're able to really bring the team together, because an efficient store makes you a lot more money than just a bunch of guys working.
We felt that to keep our good people in the company, we had to offer them an upside. And so we sat down and decided to fulfill sort of a promise and a potential for growth. We need to, again, give them a place to grow too. So we basically created the Wahoo's farm system like a baseball team, is we would grow them, from the inside, and as they were ready to go, we would sprout off and go open new units. So that was, and of course, you can never grow without customer demand. That was the customers wanting us to be closer to where they work or closer to where they live was the original impetus to get us to 3 units. Getting us over the 3 units to where we couldn't manage them ourselves was really a decision based on keeping our quality people who are contributing to the company, giving them a place to grow to.
Going to college.
Felicia Cerboni is general manager in La Jolla.
So would you say you worked your way up from the bottom? Absolutely. I was a cashier, 17 years old in high school.
Felicia understood the concept from the get-go. She radiated, she projected that thing that I look for, that quality of enthusiasm and personality, and then you can train for anything.
Mingo and Wing, everybody says you're the operations guy. What are some of the big chunks of the big ideas that people need to understand that have to be put in place to grow?
Right. Well, the first step was to look at what made it successful when I came into it. What made it successful was the ownership and the way they treated the customer. The other one was the standardization of everything that happens in the restaurant, from the recipe, from the spice, measures to the temperatures and so forth. I mean, the whole process, the product you're bringing in, your raw material, your style of service, and most of all the training program. And that was something we worked very hard at. We constantly go back and tell people that, you need to really take the temperature or taste it, not just look at it. The specificity. Well, we have a line check, for example, for the kitchen. The cooks need to do a taste test, a temperature test, a visual test, a tactile test. You got to look at the product in every aspect. The backups, do we have enough product, and it needs to be taught.
So we have a manual for almost every part of the business. And usually we've not only used ourselves as examples, we've used employees that have been with us for almost 10 years to actually help us with almost every question and answer that a customer may have, or anything that may be part of the operation of the day-to-day.
We have what we call the 10-second rule at Wahoo's.
10 seconds?
10 seconds.
Okay.
10 seconds is the maximum amount of time a plate of food will wait in the pass-through. 10 seconds is the maximum amount of time a customer will stand in front of your register before somebody approaches them. 10 seconds is the maximum amount of time that the cook will look at a ticket that comes into the line and know exactly what needs to happen. So, and we would train everybody that way. So, okay, everybody quiet for 10 seconds. And people realize that 10 seconds is a lifetime. Right?
That's it. That
Case
is a long
point.
time.
It is. Until absolutely. And we do the very thing. We demonstrate, we live what we preach, number one, and lead by example. That's what we transmit to our management. The management transmits it to the employees. Okay. And that's what you look out there. You look out there and you really see 350 potential general managers, because everybody's accountable for what they do, but they have clear expectations set for them.
All those little details.
Right.
You wrote them down.
Absolutely. We have created a training program that's based on a single page modules. Everything that one needs pretty much can be put on one page. Otherwise, don't bother.
Okay.
So some of them, the print is really small, so they can fit it on a page. But for the most part, we have accomplished that.
What do you think they do different? What is it?
The different is that the procedures, the steps by steps, the way they handle the people, the way they give out priorities to the employees, to the customers.
A lot of times, the simple fact that you have the wrong metric in your business can kill you. You're looking at the wrong thing.
Give me an example.
An example is that I have colleagues in the business that go into the restaurants, and the first thing they say, "Did you meet your sales quota today?" And the first thing I say to my district manager, I don't want to ever hear you talk about sales quota to your managers. The first thing I want you to do is go in and say, "Did you learn 2 customers' names today?" I said, don't ever worry about sales. I keep saying that over and over again. well, Steve, we have some, don't worry about your quota. Can you do A, B, C, D, E, F, G? H will be magical. It will automatically appear out of thin air. And people demonstrate that. Once they get the idea, they're focused. And that's what a lot of businesses, they're not focused enough on the things that make them exist. What makes me exist is knowing the customer, what they like to eat, and cleaning the restrooms.
Steak, pork, veggie, chicken.
You know what happens to me as a customer coming in here? I feel like, you know, the way everyone's dressed very casually, and everybody's smiling, and this is like my 4th one to be in. It almost seems like there's no organization at all. Do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. It seems kind of like chaotic. You know, it's chaos.
But it's not, is it?
Not at all. It's a very, very strictly run business. Everyone knows what they're doing.
It's delicious, it's healthy, it's noisy, it's friendly, it's chaos. Each location feels like one of a kind. It feels like the people in charge are just doing this for the fun of it. Customers and staff blend in some sort of free-form dance. It's a nimble place. The tables are very close together, which sends the nonverbal signal that if you come to Wahoo's, you're one of us, the boarding tribe. It may look like chaos, but I knew what I was seeing was a fine-tuned program of service and carefully crafted systems that allow the people who run Wahoo's stores to have fun while delivering excellent food quickly with smiles on their faces. Usually chaos cannot be duplicated, but these guys are doing it. The irony is they build the look of chaos into their systems. And to succeed, Wahoo's must capture this at every new location. Its cultivated customer doesn't want pristine, predictable chain food. They want Baja.
At smallbusinessschool.org, there is self-help study for people who want to start a business and for those who want to grow the business they have. To learn more about this episode, choose the overview. You can read every word you're hearing today when you choose the transcript and go deeper with the case study. There's streaming video and access to interactive study guides throughout the site.
Mr. and Mrs. Lee fled communist China to Brazil in the late 40s, where the boys were born. Then the family immigrated to Southern California in 1975, where they opened a Chinese restaurant on Balboa Island. Years later, the parents were ready to retire.
No, they were getting out of their restaurant business, and they asked us if we wanted to take it over. And we're like, we had no desire to put on the white shirt, black pants, and the bow tie. So I says, hey, maybe we can just take a little bit of money. You guys, lease out your restaurant to the people that are working for you now. They were interested in taking it over anyway and keeping it going, which is still going today. And we wanted to start something different. And they all thought we were a little bit off, but I know we wouldn't have the respect from the people that were working for us because they would look at us as kids.
Wahoo's came along, was pretty much our last shot. That's, mom and dad said, if you guys can't do it, it's time to move on and get a real job, get paychecks, and come back and pay us back.
A few years later, the beautiful surprise came along. So, well, we'll take you in. You're part of the family. By then, we'd spend most of the holidays together. It was like the family was. I was adopted by Mr. Lee, pretty much.
So you're happy to see your sons be so successful?
He's happiest that we've been able to follow, and it's more the hard work ethic that he taught us, and he's seeing the fruits that we talk the talk, but we can also do the walk.
I think the fact that we truly believe in what we do, and in other words, is when you love something, people, you're not selling it because people get it.
Did they pay you your $30,000 back?
Of course.
Wing was named Entrepreneur of the Year by Ernst & Young, and this publication says he is one of the 8 chefs who in the last decade has changed the way we all eat.
Why are new Americans so successful?
I think it's the work ethic and the knowledge that this place lets you do what you wish.
We are forever championing the small and privately held companies, and Wahoo's is a great slice of restaurant life. While the restaurant industry is the nation's largest private sector employer, providing 11.3 million jobs, most restaurants, 7 out of 10, employ fewer than 20 people. Small and privately held businesses dominate this industry. While many fail in the restaurant business, Wahoo succeeds by creating an experience for their own tribe. Usually what appears to be chaos cannot be duplicated, but these guys are doing it.
Small Business School is made possible by support from the United States Postal Service, delivering the promise to America's 23 million small and growing businesses. There's no wait at the post office in your own office. USPS.com is waiting for you. And by Microsoft.
We see you building a new company from an old company. We see a business full of potential. We're inspired to create software that helps you reach it.
If you want to learn more about starting, running, and growing a business, come to our website, smallbusinessschool.org. There's streaming video and interactive study guides.
The only way we can compete with big business is to be faster, smarter, and better. We are the engine of the American economy. We create the jobs. Small business is about big commitment. It's about sacrifice and struggle. But we do it because we say, if I don't do this, my life won't be complete.